Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. I am your girl, Molinda Jae, and I'm here to do episode, I believe it's 4 of Grown in Gospel. it may be episode, it may be episode 4, 3 of Grown in Gospel. I'll figure it out. But this is named Marriage Revival, but also I'm going to rename it as Time Will Tell because dive into it. All right. So the episode starts with Bree taking a woosah moment at near a lake and just reflecting on what happened at her birthday party. Meanwhile, during her woosah moment, she does get a phone call by Jay, and he's in Mexico. Bree is trying to get clarity out of all this when it comes to her coming back to the group, and she just feels a little left out, like a fish out of the water type of deal. But and also goes into detail about her with Elijah, doing too much in regards to what happened at her, I was about to say her wedding, her birthday party. And Jay had basically gave her the reassurance like, hey, that's just the way Jay put it, is he has a weird way of showing that he cares about you and really wants to help, and to basically to give him another chance. Because the next scene that is basically with Tasha and Nikki going to like a wax bar or a spa, and Tasha's getting her legs waxed. Meanwhile, Nikki was like, hey, we gonna get the lady parts waxed and along with the legs. And Tasha was like, no, we just gonna get the legs because this is her first time doing it, or first time getting a wax on her body besides eyebrows. And because she's basically preparing for her husband to come into town. So they are estranged from each other. And what I like about this segment here is that they have a candid conversation in regards to not weddings, marriages. You have your ups and your downs, and you're gonna have your good days and your bad days. And Tasha is hoping with him coming home or him coming to Detroit, that they will work things out and go and have a reconciliation moment. And because it's the fact that she can't stand, she likes being married, she loves being married, and she's wanting to do everything that she can possibly to stay within the marriage. And of course, back in the day, when it comes to couples going through it, especially with infidelity and stuff like that, 9 times out of 10 the woman will stay, because of course that is her form of stability and structure. And with divorce, it causes you to start over again, which is it's okay to start over, but the financial hardship lies with either one of the parties or both of the parties that were in the union. And then at the same time, she's not giving up on it. That's the difference between relationships today. People are quick to leave them instead of, and rightfully so. It depends on the situation. But if you're leaving off of petty stuff and catty stuff that could be resolved with some understanding of communication and actually getting to know each other, instead of treating each other as if y'all are hookups and stuff like that, basically being on one accord for the most part, then you can be able to work things out and taking action whenever you are seeking forgiveness or apologizing for your wrongdoings and stuff like that. So it's not like she is the person that wants to leave the relationship or wants to call it off quits. It's basically the husband that wants to call it quits, which we'll learn more about that further along in the episode. but candid conversation about working things out in the marriage and making sure you have done all that you can before resolving the marriage or dissolving the marriage, because biblically, God doesn't like divorce. But and then also it goes into another effect. Whenever you divorce, the woman is still bound by the man until he passes away. Meanwhile, the man can move forward and go on and make another home with somebody else. So I'm like, make it make sense for me. So the woman just that'll be a whole nother topic. Okay, I'm going off on a tangent. But on to the next scene, we have the video shoot with Elijah meeting up with his event planner Gwen. I'm assuming Gwen Fox. I'm assuming this is his go-to event planner. But they meet up at a venue scene where the photo shoot will be happening for Bree. Of course, he did invited Bree along to look at the setup and feel the vibes as well, but also have a conversation with her to figure out what happened that night, and trying to ask where he went wrong. He's trying to figure out from Bree's point of view on where he went wrong and what happened, because he felt like, and to a certain degree, he felt like he didn't do anything wrong. He was just making it a jokey joke situation when it came to him putting her boots in with some trash. Okay, so with Bree going, let's see how it affected her and how it hurt her feelings to do what he did, and how she paid for those boots, and they mean something to her because she paid that with her own money and not with somebody else's money. Okay, keep in mind she was married and divorced before. So another thing was, let's see, she also went into detail that her actions when it came to her crying and stuff at the end, after he didn't put the boots with her trash, that it was a buildup from the decorations, the venue setup, her sound when she was singing to the group on the song that she was working on. It was a buildup, and that's why she reacted the way she reacted. Then that's when Elijah had came in and talked about his level of excellence. Overall, he's like, he wants to be able to push people to greatness, and that's good and all, but if the person is not ready to be pushed into greatness, then like Bree said, it could lead to the person just falling over the edge, because a lot of people react differently when it comes to somebody helping them along their journey. Like if they ask for it and they're willingly able to do it, or they're mentally in the right mindset to do it, then they'll do it. But if the person is not mentally in that right mindset to be pushed to greatness, it could make them feel like, well, no matter what I say, no matter what I do, I feel like you just heckling me down as if you are my parent, even though you're not my parent, and it's too much for me, and I just need to take a moment. And if you don't allow them to take that moment, they will go over the edge. So that, I believe that's another thing Bree was trying to bring, another perspective to him. Like, I know that you mean well, but sometimes, well, at this moment, I'm not ready yet. I'm going at my own pace, and it feels like you're forcing my hand to do so. So just give me some patience as I'm going through this journey with you along with me, and not try to force my hand into being up in your level. Let me get to your level in my own time and not on your time. Okay. So that's what I got from that situation. One thing, I'm glad he apologized to her and acknowledged what he did and had a better understanding of what he did and learned something out of it. Next in the scene, we have let's see. Tasha makes a visit to Bree's house, and she give her some goodies like a housewarming gift. And Tasha on the sideline, she's like, she feels like she's Elijah's a babysitter to a certain degree when it comes to smoothing the surfaces of people and their rocky relationship, or the misunderstandings between Elijah and a person. But her and Bree have a candid conversation as well, and I love this segment of the show as well, because this is something that everybody can relate to. This is something that every entrepreneur, and especially content creators like myself, can relate to. But what was talked about with the conversation between Tasha and Bree, for one thing, Bree feels like she can relate to Tasha because Tasha has had a gritty past with either each individual or just having a gritty past in general. So the similarities that Tasha and Bree have together is, one, they are in the gospel sector. They sing, they're gospel royalty. Okay. And they both went to cosmetology school. And that's when Tasha confirmed, like, yeah, I went to cosmetology school for hair and makeup as well. So, okay, that's another thing they have in common. Thing that they have together is that Bree had mentioned that she used to work at a hair shop, and after she had got done with her cosmetology, she realized that she was not built for all them personalities that comes and get their hair done, because it does take a special kind of person. And then that's when Tasha goes in and asks her about balance, work-life balance, and balancing out your dreams. So when Bree, so after Tasha said that, Bree was like, well, when it comes to that aspect, she explains that she feels like she's hopeless, which I mentioned in the first review, that I feel like she's in this state where she's trying to figure it out. And that's okay. And because on one end, you got your 9 to 5 as your steady income to take care of the bills, because you don't want to be left out of the streets. And then on the other flip side, you have your dream, which in Bree's instance, her singing career that she's still trying to relaunch, and just navigating the both of them can be overwhelming. And this is why I say content creators and entrepreneurs, and anybody can relate to this, balancing work life with your passions and your hobbies. And is at the end of the day, we all have to find a balance, because we have the same 24 hours in a day, just like anybody else that is successful. And it's all about what we do in those 24 hours to produce results, right? But at the end of the day, is not judging a book by its cover, but exploring the context, the contents of the book. Okay. Meaning, don't judge a person based off the appearances that they are showing you, because you never know what is going on behind the scenes. That is definitely relatable in the social media world society, where 90 like what I say 75% 25, we give 25% when it comes to showing the good aspects of ourselves on social media, especially with just posting images that we show the good but not the bad, which is the 75%, or we don't show the chaos that's going on behind the scenes. That's 75% that people don't know about. And then whenever we look to idolizing couples out here and they end up breaking up, right? Because it is a business transaction marriage. Well, people be all out in the tangent like, okay, they broke up, so I might as well break up with mine too, because mine ain't doing the same thing as they doing. or my relationship is not living up this person's relationship because of what I'm seeing on the social medias. Instead of just focus on the relationship that you have with your partner in the present, you worried about somebody else's relationship that is showing at least the good side, the goody two shoes, but you don't know what going on behind closed doors. Okay, so that's basically what I got from that segment. I love this particular segment because again, Tasha goes into detail about, instead of her singing in the strip clubs at night and then appearing at church in the morning directing the choir. Okay, even though she is a preacher's kid and her mother is a renowned is a legendary artist in the gospel sector, you know, she in the face of it all, the book cover, right? She probably has, if people are probably looking at her like, oh, she has everything together. Look at her parents. They're very successful. But in the background, the 75% that's going on is Tasha is doing what she can in singing in strip clubs and appearing at church, making it to church and directing the choir that Sunday morning. That's what you're not seeing in the background. You're not seeing the struggle that the person is going through in the background to get where they need to go or to get where their end goal is at. And then on the flip side, you got Bree saying, well, I can relate to that too, because I was not the person that was singing for the strippers. I was the person that was actually doing the dancing on people, getting the money. And she went to further in detail, and it's because with her parents divorcing, her mother had to pick up a job, basically start over, pick up a job to provide and get back into survival mode and provide some structure with Bree and her brother. And she seen how her mother struggled, so she went out and did what she needed to do, which is dance at the club and get some money so she can be able to still bring another income in the house as well. Okay, so at the end of the day, they're basically the angels. They're perceived as the angels, but it leads to them being the black sheep of the family because they're not living up to the societal norms. They're not living up to the religious gospel sector norms because of some shortcomings that happen within the family unit. So again, don't judge a book by its cover. All right, try looking into the context of the book and reading it out and see what's happening. Okay, and then come to your conclusions. All right. And they both also dealt with same attraction. Okay, same person attraction and sensuality, bracing their sensuality as well. And Tasha said for her, it happened at 14 years old up to the age of 18, 19 years old. And Bree could relate as well, exploring the lady pond as well, exploring the sensuality side and all that, and how that plays into effect of going against the religious standards, the gospel standards and all that. It's just, again, growing up in the pressure of the church with guilt, shame, and hurt and more things. It causes a toll on the kids in that sector as well, because they grew up in that sheltered environment. And once they get out into that real world, it's more like, okay, look at all these things to explore. It's like a Pandora's box at the end of the day. All right. So that's what I learned from that segment, not to judge a book by its cover. And hey, I do like the fact that they ended that candid conversation with some prayer. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Now on to the next scene. It is Elijah meeting up with Bree at the photo shoot again. If you're going to have an outfit that's like out there, extravagant, keep the hair simple, okay? Because the hair is going to take away from the whole outfit. So I felt like even though the wig is something to experiment with, they should have just kept the wig off and just let the outfit speak for itself, or just let the makeup and every other aspects of her beauty and her essence speak for itself in the images as well. But they came out with some the photos were beautiful. My favorite one was the one she was sitting on the couch with the black dress and with the wig on. Now that was cute. But the other one, yeah, they should have just left the wig off on that one. But next scene is Tasha meeting up with her mom, and they're discussing the marriage as well with her husband. So let's see, let me see what I wrote here. Let's see, Tasha meeting up with her mom, and Tasha talks about her having double dose of being a pastor's kid and a daughter of a well-known gospel singer, and having to live the picture perfect life. And so they went into detail to talk about the wedding and her husband coming into town. And I had said that I didn't know she was divorced before, because she has said that she does not want to get a divorce the second time before she gets to the age of 40. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know she was married before. But she still loves her husband, and she still has love for him. And as she stated before in an earlier episode with Nikki, like, she doesn't want to end the marriage. She still wants to be married at the end of the day. And so her mother asked her what is the next step, and that's when Tasha has said, the person that asked for a divorce, what do you do when the person has asked for a divorce for the past of the for the past year or so? So it seems like after she said that, the husband is like mentally checked out at this point, especially if he keeps asking for a divorce multiple times within a year. He is mentally checked out. That's what I'm getting. So now they went into talking about the biblical aspects of getting a divorce, like the story of Moses and the right of divorce, and how God does not smile on divorce and is not frowned upon. And however, Tasha says that she doesn't want to move forward with the divorce because she wants to remain married, okay, and she likes being married. But she does want to ask him the question, what are they doing? But at the end of the day, she just want to stay in the marriage because she likes being married again. Also, she wants to work it out. They ended with a prayer. So that's what I got from that. At least she's able to go to her mother for counsel. That's a rarity nowadays, but at least she can be able to go to her mom for counsel. And then in the next scene, we have, I call this telling little white lies, because this is when Shayna and Tasha finally meet up together by themselves. Okay, set up by Jay. This was set up by Jay. And they speak about Tasha's marriage and how Tasha didn't like the fact that Shayna was going around talking about her marriage. And Shayna was like, well, I haven't really been talking about your marriage. But from what I could recall, me and Nikki had a conversation in the driveway in regards to your marriage. But it was brought to your husband's attention that I guess word was getting around the street with your relationship. But at the same time, I was not the one going around spreading the lies. So with this particular scene, with Shayna and Tasha, it really didn't go nowhere. It was more like, oh, well, are you going to tell the truth or not? And Shayna was like, well, that's my truth. I did not go around spreading lies or spreading rumors about your marriage. But for the people who are, they're going to keep telling it until they're blue in the face, and until it's truthful to them, and they're gonna stick to their story. That's that. So until they get to the root of the issue of the original person that went and told who, what, when, where, and why, it's just going to continue to be a rift between the two of them, because they have been friends ever since their 20s and stuff like that. So yeah, I didn't get anything out of this particular scene. Nothing was accomplished within this scene. At least they were able to meet up together, but nothing was accomplished with this scene. And then moving on to the last segment, which is Tasha is home waiting for her husband to arrive. She is laying down the flower petals on the floor. She is making the scene romantic for their dinner, and hopefully she'll get some at the end of the night. And her husband ends up arriving, and little tidbit, I do like the violin that the violinist had. I just like the shape and the color. Red is not so much my favorite color, but I just like the uniqueness of his violin. Shouts out to the violinist there. Make me want to go back low key and practice on the violin so I can do some romantic gigs, you know what I'm saying? Other than that, that's when, you know, this is when the shadiness happened, y'all. Okay, for one thing, Tasha says in her confessional that she wants her husband to fight for the marriage instead of just being all willy-nilly, nonchalant, and mentally checked out of it. She really wants to make it work and reconcile, and she really wants him to fight for the marriage, but he just seems like he's done. So anyway, he does arrive, and they greet each other with a hug for that. So that's a good start. They greet each other with a hug, and she mentions that this is their second time separated, and that they have been living separately as well. Tasha also stated that she is having mixed emotions as well, and says that she made a statement of she made a statement to him that she thought he wouldn't make it, and then that's when he come in with the shadiness clap back saying, I didn't think I'll make it here either. And I'm like, what's wrong with you, bro? What's going on? So Tasha had mentioned that she didn't think she was ready to marry someone like him, which I thought that was interesting. And she gives him a gift of reconciliation, which was a box, and the box was in the box was a lock, because it represents of him being private, because she feels like she invaded his trust, and she's basically giving the lock to him, like, you still have the key to my heart, you can always unlock it, and I also broken your trust, and I hope you can reinstill that trust in me again due to the invasion of privacy that happened once before. And then also she provided him a t-shirt that says stop drinking, because she was indulging in some spirits, some liquid spirits, okay, and which was a coping mechanism from her, because she had mentioned during the time earlier in their marriage that whatever she was doing to, like, I guess, show some interest or want to be romantic and affectionate and stuff like that, he just would not be looking up from his phone to look at her. So she utilized the liquid spirits as a coping mechanism due to the negligence of her husband. Okay, negligence of her husband's attention. And then he also give her a gift as well, which is a watch. And what his motive behind this gift was, time will tell. Okay, that's why I named the episode Time Will Tell, because again, he's mentally checked out. I can see it in his face. It's written all over his face, and at the same time, the totality. He doesn't know how the totality of the relationship is going to move forward or end, but only time will tell. And she mentions that she has another gift, and she goes in and changes her outfit to a more lingerie type of deal, making sure her tatas are sitting up because she said he likes that aspect of her. And he used to compliment on her legs as well, which is why she went to go get her legs waxed. And he was still not being lured in. I mean, he had a couple of chuckles, but he still was not feeling it. I was like, dang, that's messed up. She really wanted to end the night on a good note, but he was just not budging. Like, he still hurt. And then that's when she had revealed that she said the feeling of rejection stringing from the heart, a relationship or the beginning of the marriage, where she would do things and he would not even look up from his phone, and she apologizes for having an affair on him. So I'm like, oh, it makes sense now on why he's like the way he is, because with men in relationships, right, with relationships in general, when the woman cheats on the man, it's very hard for the man to forgive the woman, because as women we are emotionally, we are emotionally driven. And the fact that you have given your body to another person, it was basically emotionally driven. And that's one of those intimate aspects that breaks a trust in the relationship, compared to with a man. It's a man cheating on a woman. It's like, oh, she provided the need that I needed at the moment. Is nothing emotional involved with it, because they are action driven people, the males, right, the men, as well as they are aesthetically, they get aroused by aesthetics as well. So it's more like, I get it, but how many times are we going to lean towards that excuse or that notion when it comes to cheating? Even though guys are not that emotionally driven, at the end of the day, everybody has emotions, right? So cheating is cheating. Whether it's emotion or not, whenever you give your body to somebody else, bro, that the soul ties, that's where the soul ties lie, girl. Okay, and then if you're dealing with multiple people, you're gonna be so messed up in the hand, because you're engaging with the soul that you have not only attract, but you let insert you, or you insert it in the person. So it's more like, how long we gonna live with that excuse, okay, of when a man cheats on a woman, it's not with emotion, it's not emotional. Compared to a woman, it is emotional. Well, at the end of the day, it takes two to tango, okay? It takes two to tango, whether it's emotionally driven or not. But other than that, he is emotionally checked out, y'all. And it seemed like he did get a little emotional, because he was, wiping his eyes with a napkin. But it's gonna take a minute for him to. I hope they can work it out. But with men, it really hits them hard when a woman cheats on them. I'm just gonna end it like that, in that fashion, because when it comes to relationships, it goes into a whole nother tangent. But time will tell, right? So I'm gonna leave it at that. That is the end of the review, y'all. Feel free to leave your comments down below in the comment section what you feel about this review. Have you been watching the show? I know with this SWV Escape and the Queens of R&B mess is drawing away attraction from the viewership for Grown and Gospel, but Grown and Gospel is it's a good balance to the chaos that is happening with the other show that is happening on there. So hopefully they get another season, because this is a good show. This is a good show. All right. But other than that, I'm gonna leave y'all to it. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.